What if I told you that you could own a property, but not really own it? Confusing? Life estate is one of the trickiest concepts on the real estate exam. But by the end of this video, you will be able to explain it like a real pro. In this video, we will learn how to define life estates, the concepts that you need to know for the exam, and the types of questions that you can expect. So let's go and let's unravel this legal term. What is a life estate? A life estate is a form of property ownership that lasts for the duration of the occupant's life. The occupant is also known as the life tenant. Here's how it works. Life estates have time-limited ownership, meaning the life tenant gets to use and enjoy the property for their entire life. They have no expiration date, but they are also not forever. The right of the property ends when the life tenant passes away. They can't will it to someone else. There's a future owner waiting in the wings. There's always someone else called the remainder man who's set to get the property after the tenant is gone. Use it, don't lose it. During the tenant's life, they can live in it, rent it out, or use it how they like, within reason. They cannot have it demolished or ruined. The right comes with responsibility. The life tenant is in charge of maintaining the property and paying taxes on it during the occupancy. No selling the whole package. Since the tenant doesn't own a future interest in the property, they can't sell the entire property outright. Remember, in real estate exam questions, look for scenarios. Someone has the right to use a property for life, but they cannot sell it outright, because that's your cue to think, oh, wait a second, life estate. But what exactly do you need to know for the exam? The good news is that there are only 3 things you have to remember. And the first one is that life estate is a type of freehold estate because the life tenant has ownership of the property even though it is just for the duration of their life. The second thing that you have to keep in mind are 4 very important vocabulary terms. Life tenant, who is the individual with ownership of the property for the duration of their life. Remainder man, this is the individual to whom the property will go after the life tenant passes. Grantor, who is the person giving or handing over the property to the life tenant. In some cases, the grantor is also the life tenant, as in our example above. Reversionary interest, which is the future interest in the property. It identifies the person who will own the property in the future. Think of it as the person to whom the property will revert. And finally, I want you guys to remember the bundle of rights a life tenant has. Every life tenant may possess the property, lease the property, and enjoy the property. In some very, and I repeat, very rare cases, a life tenant, with the aid of the remainder man, may encumber and even sell the property. But again, this is a very, very rare case. However, a life tenant may not will the property to anyone or destroy the property. Exam question examples. Ready to put your knowledge to the task? Here are a few exam questions. Question number 1. Andrew created a life estate on his property for his sister, Hannah. Under the terms of the deed, ownership of the property will last until his death, her death, his moving date, his last day of the fiscal year. The correct answer is option 2. When you hear life estate, think of life and death. A life estate is an interest in real property held for the duration of the life of a designated person. It may be limited by the life of the person holding it or by the life of another person. Question number 2. A property owner grants a life estate to his brother with the remainder to go to a local charity. Which of the following statements is true regarding the remainder man? The charity has the right to immediately occupy the property. The charity must pay property taxes during the life tenant's occupancy. The charity cannot sell its remainder interest without the life tenant's permission. The charity's interest becomes possessory upon the death of the life tenant. The first thing you have to realize is that the charity is the remainder man. With that knowledge, you know that the correct answer is 4 because the charity's interest as a remainder man become possessory only after the life tenant's death. This means the remainder man can possess the property, but only after the life tenant passes. There you have it, life estate demystified. You've just added a really powerful tool to your real estate knowledge toolkit. Please remember to give a thumbs up to this video and hit the subscribe button so that you will be the first one to know when we break down other tricky real estate concepts. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Your curiosity may inspire our next video. If you haven't already, then check out our video on joint tenancy versus tenancy in common. Stay curious, stay determined, and keep your eye on the prize. Until next time.